of topics that we discussed. The first one was, and I honestly am like, I feel dumb that I never thought of this before, but when the girl that was talking about running free group, she talked about sending out like a survey at the end of every group to all of the challengers that were in the group. And I feel like that would be an awesome way to not have that group kind of like fall off track. And she said she makes it really simple. It's like 3 questions. So she pretty much just asks like, what was your favorite part about this group? She asked them like, is there anything that you didn't like about this group? Or, basically like, what do you suggest I do differently next time? And then she said the third thing is, she goes, how can I get, or like, what type of information would you like? Or how can I give you more information? And then she has like, she uses similar to like the WooFoo form. So it's like a multiple choice, and it's like, I'd like to be updated on future free groups. I'd like to get more information about your accountability groups. I'd like more information about your fit club. So she leaves it up to them, kind of like, so then you're not overloading them with information at the end, and it kind of directs you so you don't have to work so hard to like try to pull those people in that maybe aren't that interested, but they might want to join your next free group. So now okay, I'm going to follow up when I'm running a new free group, and that's how you do it. And then you can have like a list of like how you're going to track those people. So I thought that was really interesting, because I thought of doing the like questionnaires to have someone join your group. Yes, I can. Yes, Pam. But I mean, I send out a survey for everyone that wants to join my group, because it helps me streamline those questions. But then I feel like I always fall apart at the end of the group, because all of those people that kind of don't participate, or they're not really interested in you following up, I don't know how to help them. So I think this would be a really good way to kind of just like get feedback about our groups and learn like, okay, why didn't you participate? Maybe I'm doing something that like totally sucks and I shouldn't do that anymore. Or what was really good about it. And then that gives you information to keep working from. And then you know how to ask those people questions in the future. So that was one good thing that we learned about. The second was we talked about like objections. So she said she grouped them into the 3 most common types of objections that we get from messaging people. So the first one obviously is the price objection. So everybody knows like that's the first thing you get from people, where they're like, oh, it's so expensive, I don't want it. So then how do you respond to those people? The first thing she said, and I think is the hardest part for us to remember as coaches, but we all paid that $140, $160, however much, like $140 for a challenge pack. Every single one of us paid that for the most part to join. And if we don't feel that it was worth a lot more than $140 to me now, looking back on it. That completely changed my life. I have a purse that costs $150 and it's beautiful, but that did not change my life. I paid less to change my life for this. So you really have to believe that this is worth the money. And when you start to discount that, it shows. And when you start to try to like figure out, oh, well, I'll throw in this free gift. I mean, those things are great, but if you feel like you're really having to push to sell because you don't think that that's too much money to spend, then I feel like it's coming out in your messaging. So she said you really have to have confidence in the product. The product's going to work. You're not making them spend $140 for nothing. Like you have faith that this will change, their body or their life or their lifestyle. The second thing that she said to do is go back and remind them why they reached out to you or why they were interested. So remind them, hey, you told me you wanted to lose 20 pounds. I'm telling you how you can do it. And if you want the maximum results, this is how you're going to get them. If you want the results that you're seeing in the video, you have to drink Shakeology. And that's how it goes. So remind them every time you do that. So the other thing is break down the cost for them. Maybe they're not getting paid, or maybe they, just don't have the money right now. Okay, you're going to have a challenge group next month. So maybe they're not going to get you Success Club points, but if it's really that, break down the cost for them. It's this many dollars a day. save it up and come back to me next month, or save it up and I will follow up with you next month when my next group is opening, and maybe it might be more affordable. And then you're not pushing them into spending the money right now. You're saying, hey, I totally get it, but why don't you save money, and then I'll be back to find you next month. So I think that's a good way to do it. And then the other thing she said she does is if they're really like, oh no, I can't afford Shakeology, she always offers them to do, like, she puts on the table like the 30-day free Beachbody trial combined with the 7-day Shakeology sampler, which is $30. And she has had a 100% return rate. Every single person that has bought a sampler has bought a challenge pack from her in another month. And she's done this 15 times. So 15 out of 15 people have bought a challenge pack after doing the sampler.
Wow.
So, I mean, I never even thought of doing that, to offer them that as an option. Like, hey, okay, when you think about it, you're spending more money because now you're spending $30 plus $140. So you end up spending more, but they're not going to look at it like that. And then the other thing she says that sometimes she'll do, especially with, she said her target group is like stay-at-home moms. So you can't afford it. Well, why don't you become a coach and have it pay back? And she always offers up the coaching opportunity. So I think that's something that we often think, oh, if you're not interested, you probably wouldn't want to be a coach because it's a lot of work. So I'm not even going to try it. She said, don't underestimate that aspect, because she's had a lot of people say like, oh, okay, yeah, if I can get it to pay for itself, like I would do that. So those were basically her like reasons, or how to combat like the money objection. The second one she talked about was time. So people come back at you, I don't have 30 minutes in a day. Okay, we all know, we've been doing this long enough, or even if you just started, 30 minutes, it's hard, but it's doable in a day. You can wake up 30 minutes earlier. You can stay up 30 minutes later. You can fit it in. You can pause it and come back and get 15 minutes in, 15 minutes later, whatever. But I mean, we know 30 minutes is doable. Some people do not see it like that. She said to definitely point out the way that she runs her groups is a little differently. Every one of her groups runs the first 7 days, like the first full week is only nutrition. She only does Shakeology and meal planning the entire first week of her challenge group, and doesn't even start the workouts yet. And she always reminds people that 70% of your weight loss journey is nutrition. So even if you don't have 30 minutes a day to get in your workout, but maybe you have it like 3 or 4 days a week, or even some days, it's still worth joining the group just to change your nutrition, because you will see some results from that. I'm not as familiar with the 10-minute trainer on demand, but she said that she's talked to people about that. Has anyone used the 10-minute trainer? No. So I don't really know what that is, but I guess it's something where you like work out for 10 minutes. I don't know if it's like a certain workout, but then I think you have the option. Okay, I think you have the option to work out like another 10 minutes. And she said like, okay, well, why don't you do Beachbody On Demand, try the 10-minute trainer, because you probably have at least 10 minutes. And she said then usually people realize that they have more than 10 minutes to do it. But she put that one out there. And then she said the other thing is, knowing that we're all busy people, share your own story. Share how you struggle to fit it into your day. Share how doable it is for you now. But kind of just go back to that and get a little bit more personal. And then the third thing was people object generally to Shakeology. They want to try a cheaper protein. They want to, make their own shake. They want to make their own breakfast, whatever. I don't know. But she said, she again says she reminds people, if you want the results that you saw in the video, this is how you're going to get them. She will do the 7-day sampler so they can trial it. And then the other one that she said she absolutely hates doing and she tries to avoid at all times is to remind them that there is a money back guarantee, because she said she feels like it's a little too salesy. But sometimes people feel more comfortable committing to something if they know that they could get their money back if they hate it. And then it's not as big of a deal to spend it. But those were her 3 biggest objections, and kind of how She deals with that. So I can definitely type all these points up so that you guys have them, and I'll post it in the group either later tonight or tomorrow. And then the other thing we talked about was time management, which this part actually really annoyed me for a little bit because in my group, it was a lot of stay-at-home moms. And personally, I don't know, a lot of you know my story. Like, I'm super busy. So my time management consists of like trying to fit anything I possibly can into my day. And my group was all these moms who were like, oh, well, we just like sit around. And like, I don't know how to actually like keep myself on track because I just like lose track of time. And then I have like, I wasted and like, I'm like, oh my God, I hate you. But I did get one helpful thing from that group. There was a mom who said that she actually sets alarms on her phone for everything she wants to do on her to-do list. So if she knows that she has to like make a post, or she knows that she has to, I don't know, like follow up with so-and-so or whatever, and it's really important that she gets it done at a certain time or on a certain day, she'll wake up in the morning and set alarms like throughout the day so that if she gets off track, she's like, oh, okay, I got a message like, you know, Jessica back or something. And then then she like doesn't lose track of what she's doing. And then they were talking about the Teamsy app or pay. I don't know if it's a website. I know we've talked about it before, but she said that it's like you pay $30 a month and it imports all your contacts from like Facebook, and it will track all of your messages that you're sending or something like that. I don't really know much about it, but she also said that it's not a Beachbody thing, so she doesn't know if it's like completely, as of now she said it's in compliance with like all of the Beachbody things, but she doesn't know. She's like, I can't guarantee. Yes, Pam. She's like, I can't guarantee that like it won't disappear someday. So she's like, it was kind of like she uses it and she thinks it's great, but at the same time it's one of those things where if you put all your eggs in that basket and it disappears, then you're kind of like SOL. But I think that
when they first came out with it, I was really excited about it, but there was a lot of issues when they first came out with it that weren't figured out. Like they brought it out before there was too much stuff that wasn't done yet when they put it out. So I haven't used it since then because I was starting to use it, and then I kept getting to spots that I couldn't actually use that spot of it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't really understand too much about it. And I guess whoever, like, I don't know who marketed it to her, like told her about it or where she found out, but they had like said it as, oh, it's only $30 a month. That's your commission on like one challenge pack. So it's really not that bad to spend it. I guess it seems like it makes it easier, but it seems kind of like if we're actually doing our Power of Threes tracker, it's similar along those lines. Or if you make an Excel sheet, I think it just makes it easier for you to track it without you having to physically do it yourself. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, overall, they had some like really good tips and stuff. So I hope that's helpful. The other thing that I was going to say, and I'm going to call you out, Amanda, because we were talking about this earlier, but messaging people, and I'm going to tell you the reason that I am not afraid to message people, or that you shouldn't be afraid to message people, because when we think about not wanting to message, so why would you not want to message somebody? It's because you're afraid that you're going to come off as pushy, or you're annoying them, or they don't want to hear from you, or they're going to ignore you or whatnot. But when you start viewing it as, there's a lot of people that don't have the confidence to say yes or to reach out to you. So when you're reaching out to them and say, hey, I'm starting a group, I think you'd be a really great addition. Like, I'd love to have you as part of our group if you're interested, you know, like, let me know. I'd love to give you more information. Then you're saying to that person, hey, I think that this would be really fun and I want you in that group. And maybe they've been thinking about it. Maybe they've been watching your post, but they don't want to message you. So by you giving them the confidence to say, I already believe in you and you're not even in my group yet, like you're giving them permission to ask you. And I feel like that goes along with the value of the programs, I think, Amanda, you said that, like Micah said that she does not message people.
Well, I think what she was saying was like, okay, say you add like a random person or whatever. She doesn't. What I've stopped doing is just messaging those people and being like, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. Check out my crap or whatever. That's what I stopped doing, just because she said, she'd rather build a relationship with them via Facebook only and then go from there and then message, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that. I don't do a lot of, I guess, what you would call like cold inviting. Like, I don't message too many like random people that I haven't been talking to. Yeah. I used to do a lot of it, honestly, like probably my first like 3 or 4 months. And I've looked back at like my messages, and now I'm kind of like, oh crap, because now I'll go back to people that I've actually built relationships with and realize that I did message them in the beginning and they did not respond to me. Right. Because they're like, who is this girl? Like, I haven't seen her in 10 years, and why is she messaging me? But it's funny because now that I've started doing like the like commenting more or liking things or actually being more involved, and it's no longer a cold invite, I've messaged them again and gotten a response.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that I think it's that building over time, and that's the like. I'm not a diamond coach yet. I'm going to be a diamond coach, but I've been working at this for like almost a year now, and I could have easily given up like a long time ago, but I have gotten a lot of people to turn around. It took my sister 11 months to buy a challenge pack from me. And the only reason I think she actually did it was because, okay, like seriously, you're still doing this. Like, you haven't given up. People want to see that, and people are more inspired by that. I've had a lot of people that when I first started coaching, they're like, do they pay you to post those like cheesy inspirational things like on your page, or do they pay you to like, do they give you those things to post? And I was like, well, no. And there was actually one girl who did that to me, and she actually messaged me today and said, hey, do you have any book recommendations for me? I really love all your quotes that you're posting. And it's the same girl that was like, do you get paid to post that on your page? Or do you really think those things? So I think like people are watching you, and they want to know that you believe in these things and that you're just not trying to make a quick sale. And I think that's where like the most important thing out of anything is just to know the value and believe the value, because if you don't believe the value, it shows. And it's going to come off as like desperate or wanting that sale or whatnot. And you don't want it to come off like that, because then you're going to make the sale. Sometimes you still make the sale, and then those people are the ones that fall off the track and then end up with a new coach. Like later, I can't tell you how many girls, well, Jamie's not on this call, is she?
No, she's not getting on.
She's not, but she was one that she had a different coach, and she's now on my team. And she came to me and asked if I could be in her if she could be in my challenge group. And I asked if she had a coach, and she said yes. And I told her, okay, well, I'd really like you to reach out to your own coach. If you ever decided to change, I'd be more than happy to let you in. And she ended up coming around and deciding that she didn't want to work with her coach and coming to me. So that's the other thing, is a lot of us like kind of fall off, and you're really motivated. And then as soon as that stuff starts getting hard, you lose the motivation and you start doubting what you're doing. And when you start doubting it, other people start doubting it. So don't doubt it.
And going back to inviting, I would recommend never sending an invite to someone if you have not been commenting and liking their stuff, because then it really seems like you came out of nowhere. Like if you haven't talked to them in forever and you're just like, hey, I always start commenting and liking their stuff and build that up for a little bit before I ever send a message about a challenge group or about coaching or anything, just because I want them to be seeing what I'm doing without me like telling them. I want them to be liking my stuff without me saying like, hey, I'm a coach and you should join this. So by commenting and liking on their stuff, then they start doing it back to you, and you know if they're going to be interested or not. And then there's times that I'll be like, hey, you have been liking all my stuff and supporting me, in this journey. Have you ever thought about joining me? So I always make sure that there's a decent amount of time that I liked and commented on stuff, and kind of just checked out their page, like what kind of stuff are they posting. For instance, there was a girl who's been one of the upline coaches today. She was talking to someone that she thought would be a good coach, and they've been talking back and forth, and she was in her challenge group. She's one of her challengers, and then the girl changed her profile picture to like 2 people having sex. It's literally like an icon, like this weird icon that's so ridiculous. And so she posted it, and then she shared it in the message thread that I'm in and was like, I don't think this girl's going to work on my team anymore. But you want to know those things. So you want to be commenting and liking and getting to know what that person's doing. If it's someone that's posting stuff that's super inappropriate and crazy, then obviously that's probably not someone that you're going to want to coach, and you want to know that ahead of time. So don't just like reach out to people just to reach out. There's a situation that I just fell into with someone that wanted to coach, and I had talked to the upline because I didn't know. I was like, I really don't want them on the team because I don't agree with some of the stuff that's happening. And when you're building your team, you have to make that decision. You want to build your team and you want to be working with awesome people, but you also want to know who you're working with, because if they have morals that you don't agree with at all, and you know that, then it's not someone you're going to want to have to talk to every single day and have team calls with and work with to grow the business. So just remember that when you're looking for coaches, don't just add people and don't just think, oh, well, they want to coach, because I could have done that recently, but the reason that I didn't was because of a situation that had happened. I just didn't want it on our team, because I think it would have caused a lot of drama. So that's that. But make sure you do message people, because otherwise if you just send a message out of nowhere, and they have been watching your page and they see you're a coach, a lot of people will assume like, okay, she probably wants me to do her stuff. Or I get the RNF. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Rhoda and Fields. I get those messages all the time. Like they send me a message, hey, you're doing awesome. I saw Rhoda and Fields, blah, blah, blah. Like I think I've gotten 3 in the last week, messages like that of people who don't talk to me and just sent that message. And I'm like, you have a better chance of talking to me. Also, make sure that you do not ever you can create an event and invite people. Don't ever just put people in a group or put people in an event without telling them. A lot of people on my Facebook friends have done that recently, and it really irritates me because I have like tons of groups going on, and then people just add me to stuff. Ask the person first, because for me, in my opinion, if there's a chance I'm going to get something from you, whatever, maybe I do want that product. If you didn't talk to me about it and you just put me in this group and I have to like see all this stuff that I know nothing about, I'm not going to buy from you for that sole reason. So do not ever just put people in and be like, hey, I'm doing this. Now you're in my group. Talk to them first and make sure they want to be in that group before you add them in.
I would say another thing is with the messaging, something that I will do if you notice that somebody is not answering your message, comment on something on their page. I will tell you that like probably 25% of the time, if somebody's not answering me and I'm consistently commenting, all of a sudden I will get an answer. Like, because they might have just forgotten to message you back. Maybe they were meaning to, and then all of a sudden you pop up, you're commenting on their picture, and either they feel obligated to message me back because now they realize that I'm not gone, or they forgot about it and now they remember because I popped back into their news feed and they're like, oh yeah, crap, I forgot to message her back. So that has worked for me. I mean, not always, but it does work for me like 25% of the time.
Even with me, there's when people send me messages, sometimes they'll send me like a long message about maybe they want to join my challenge group, and then like I had a mom recently that sent me, and it was a really long message, and I knew it was going to take me a little time to read it, but I always try to get through my power hour before I start responding to messages so that I don't like go to do something. But I waited, and then I let her know when I responded, like, just so you know, I wanted to make sure I had time to read it and take the time to respond. So sometimes when people don't respond, it might be because they're thinking about it, or it might be because they want time to actually talk to you about it, but right then isn't a good time, so they don't want to start the conversation going right then.
I will say also, you know how everyone gets really down when they see the little like bubble that says somebody's read it or they haven't read it and they haven't responded to you? I know for a fact that I purposely will not open a message if I know I want to respond and I don't have time. So if
That's
you
what
see
I
that
do.
they're not reading it, they might just not be opening it because they are meaning to respond. But then it disappears because then it unbolds. Like mine are bold on the Facebook Messenger when they are like not read. So then when I'm like quickly scrolling back through all the ones I have to answer, they're still bold. So I won't even open it unless I know I can answer it right then. Otherwise, I will forget it. So that could be a reason why people aren't reading your messages.
And you guys, when you do your power hours, the one that we're doing, we do one a month now as a team. That's to show you guys, like, write those down and do that. Because if you only put an hour into your business every day and that's what you do for that hour, you will be a successful coach. But one thing that a lot of people do is they go to do their power hour and then someone, even when you guys are doing it with me, someone starts talking to you and then you might want to buy. So you get distracted and you start talking to them because you don't want to like lose a sale. But make it through your power hour. Like that is one thing every day. I don't respond to texts or any messages I receive when I'm doing my power hour, because if I respond, then I get all thrown off and sometimes I don't get it done. So I don't respond to any messages during that. I strictly do my power hour and then I go back and start responding. And make sure though you do your power hour every day. Set aside, pick a time that you're going to do it. When I ask like, hey, when are you guys going to do your hours? I'm not only asking for me, but it also holds you accountable if you pick those hours and you're like, I'm doing it from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Because then that's set in your thing. Write it in your notebook so you know, hey, this is my job. This is what I'm doing. And that way you're seeing it and you're not just like, okay, well, I'm going to do a power hour at some point. Just like I'm going to work out at some point. If you're not picking times, then it's harder to stick to it. And for the calendar, you guys all have the calendar, so print them out. Always make sure you're drinking your Shakeology, doing your workout, and you're inviting. And then I said for the free challenge, you guys already started talking about what you guys are going to do. Free challenges, we're going to try to start splitting up a little more. The only reason we're doing that is so that you guys take on more responsibility and are starting to run more groups, because you'll want to be doing that. So that's why we're doing that way. And then always write down when we have team calls so that you can get on and you know that it's going on and you don't have to miss it. The 21st is a live sneak peek event that will be all day again. You can be inviting that for, the 17th to 20th. And then live power hour is on the 28th. We'll still do. And then me and Amy go to Utah, but we're the only ones going to Utah for that. It's everything else. Okay, and then also, if you're in a diamond group right now, to be in that diamond group, we were on a call last night, and we had to say if our coaches are going to push for diamond and be serious about it to put them in the group. So if you're in that group, make sure you are pushing because you want it and you want it by that day, and you're doing the stuff that we ask you to do and that you check in. Because that was one of the rules when Ashley set it up and was like, hey, do we want to do this? And we all said yes. We had people that really want to push, and we want to help you get there, but we want to make sure that we don't bring anyone down in the group, because everyone in that group is people that want diamond by May 19th and are really going to push to get there, and we're going to help you do that. Same with Emerald. If you are in that Emerald training, make sure you are checking in every day and doing the things that they want. Tag me in your posts, because I'm an admin in both, so I get all the notifications. So make sure you tag me just so I can see what you're doing and if you have a question for me or whatever, because otherwise it's a ton of notifications. Then also, Master Hammer and Chisel, challenge packs. So Master's Hammer and Chisel is $160 this month. Club and Shakeology is $140. Club Kickstart and Shakeology is $180, and Club and Performance is $140, I think.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
They said something about now, like the club challenge packs come with portion portion fix. Is that current?
That is current. Every single one of those come with portion control containers this month. I don't know that it's going to be that way every month, but every single thing that is on sale this month or is a special comes with portion control containers. But also, I want to remind you guys, don't think like, oh, this program, Hammer and Chisel, is on sale, so that's what I have to sell. Still, I always have them fill out the survey, and 9 out of 10 times, if someone's coming to me, I'm usually starting them on 21-day fix or 21-day fix extreme, just because that one, in my opinion, it's 30 minutes. It does your whole body. People get great results. It's quick results in that 21 days, and they can keep going with the portion control. But that's typically the program that I'll start people on. So don't think like, oh, this program's on sale, I have to do it this way. Still do it the way. Make sure you're talking to them, because if they love yoga, then they don't want Hammer and Chisel. So make sure you're talking to them and finding out that stuff.
Not to mention this month, I mean, the sale is still $160, so that's the same price as 21-day fix, and a lot of the other programs anyway. So they're really not paying any more or like paying any less by getting the sale one.
And one thing I can say for our team, when I go look at your Facebooks, the majority of or the one common thing I think we all need to be doing more of is tying in coaching without, like, just in little things, whether it is tied in with your income. It can be you went and bought $50 worth of groceries with your Beachbody money because you got paid every Thursday and it was $50. You don't realize that there's so many people that could use that $50 that aren't thinking that way. So find ways to tie it in that relates to you. You don't have to be making, tons and tons of money to tie all that in. You want to tie it in and make it relatable, and you want to tie it in with things you're doing because you're a coach, the changes that's happening in your life because you're a coach, and be tying it in. I try to at least once a day now tie it in somehow in it. With that, I don't like directly say stuff always, but I usually try to figure out a way to tie it in. And if you follow my coach, Ashley, if you guys don't, you definitely should. But she ties in coaching in almost every single post of hers. But you don't realize she's doing it as often as she is, because she just makes sure she words it how she's fitting it in. So that's something I think everyone needs to be working on, because that is why people end up wanting to join you, is because they see that you're being successful and they see the coaching part of it without, and they're like, wow, that's cool. She has this extra money, or she is working on herself because of this job or whatever, has the extra support. Also, if you are liking people's like pages that are certain coaches, you do not want to be liking any top coaches' statuses. If you do that, it goes in your news feed, and then it goes to everybody else, like your friends. Like, their ads will go to their friends. So make sure you can go look at people's pages, but you don't want to be following all them and adding everyone that's a top coach, because then your friends are going to be getting all their ads because they're paying a lot of money for their ads. Okay, I'm going to take a picture really fast so everyone smile, because it's going to end. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, that stupid thing is, okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, it's gonna end. Kristen will type all those notes for you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.